What do we usually do when something is broken beyond repair? Maybe a person who follows zero waste lifestyle will try and find some use for it, but otherwise, most of us just get rid of the item, right? And what if we are talking not about any item, but maybe a domesticated animal or a pet or even a person? Do we get rid of them? What if we are the broken ones? What if we are unable to fix ourselves? And what if we could turn our disadvantage into an advantage? Turn our weakness into our strength. There was this woman by name Chang in a province in China who used to work for a rich merchant. This merchant used to live in a mansion atop a hill, like many rich people do. They have their bungalows, mansions, or villas in picturesque places away from the crowd and din of the cities. So Chang used to go to this hilltop mansion to do the dishes and laundry for this rich man. But the stories we talk about are like hundreds of years old, right? So the houses then did not have electricity or water running in taps. Chang had to collect water from a stream near the bottom of the hill and carry them all the way to the top in order to do the chores in the man's house. She had two big pots which she had made with her own two hands when she was young, and she had painted one pot red and the other blue. She had been using these pots for many years and she had gotten emotionally attached to them. Every day she would collect water at the stream in her pots and hang them at one end each of a long pole which could then be carried across her shoulders. Tough job, but she was relatively young, energetic, hardworking. You will still be able to see such visuals if you happen to visit the northeast mountainous regions of India. Coming back to Chang. As years went by, she became older and older, and so did the pots. The things we buy also get older with time, right? It so happens that one day, as Chang fills water in the pots, she notices a slight crack in the blue pot. Barely discernible, but very much there. She gets a little concerned about the pot, but she can see that it can still hold water, so she continues to use it. Many more months pass, and the crack has begun to grow bigger and wider. Now it is plainly visible, right from the mouth of the pot all the way to its bottom. And Chang starts to notice that the blue pot is no longer holding all of the water. About 1/4 of water is leaking from the pot every time she carries it to the hilltop. Chang tries to fix the crack, but it only gets bigger and bigger, and soon the pot is able to hold only half the water. Now, what Chang doesn't know is that the pot has a life of its own and it has feelings too. The cracked pot, that is the blue pot, pours out its woes to the red pot, saying it is becoming useless and will soon no longer be able to serve Chang's needs. The red pot feels sad for the blue one and it tries to console it, saying that it's okay and Chang still loves them all the same. And it is true. Chang knows the blue pot won't be able to hold any water much longer, but she doesn't have the heart to throw away the pot. A day comes when the crack in the blue pot gets even bigger and the pot is able to hold only a little more than quarter of the water. The blue pot can't bear it anymore. It doesn't want Chang to cling on to a now nearly useless pot. The next morning, as Chang gets ready to get to work, the blue pot calls out to her, "Chang, Chang." Chang is surprised to hear her name being called. She looks around. She sees no one. There is no other person there. There is no one coming up to her house either. So, who called out her name? The pot calls out again, "Chang, it's me, your blue pot." And it starts to slightly sway in its place where it had been hung to get her attention. Now Chang is very pleasantly taken aback. She runs to the pot, takes it lovingly in her hands and cries out, "Dear God, is it really you, my good old pot, talking to me?" The blue pot says, "Yes, my dear Chang, it is me indeed. And I want to tell you that you ought to put me away, throw me away, because I am not able to carry water any longer. You have been kind enough to keep me and use me all these days despite me losing my water, but I cannot be of use to you anymore. Let go of me, Chang, and get yourself another new pot which will serve you better." With tears in her eyes, Chang smiled and said lovingly, "My dear pot, you really think you have been of no use despite being broken? I think you have been so miserable, you have not noticed something. Look around, will you? And look towards the hilltop where we go every day. What do you see? Do you see any difference at all?" The blue pot now looked around Chang's house and then at the long ascending path to the hilltop, and slowly its eyes widened in wonder. Wait, when did this happen? The path used to be completely bare except for some tufts of grass. But now there are rows and rows of lovely flowers blooming and swaying in the breeze and a lush green carpet of grass. How did that happen? And Chang said, "My dear pot, it is you." The blue pot was bewildered. "What? Me? I did not do anything." Chang said, "I was well aware that you are leaking, and despite all efforts, your crack was only getting worse. So I just made use of all that leakage. I sowed seeds of different flowering plants and medicinal plants along the path we take, and then the water you leaked did the job. Your crack watered those seeds and saplings every time I carried you, and now look at the beautiful change, all thanks to you." As Chang gently hugged the blue pot, tears of joy flowed down its crack.